Hello, and very warm welcome to this little video which I've created to explain how you can meet and greet a brand new deck of cards. Whether this deck of cards is an oracle card deck, a tarot card deck, an affirmation card deck. The one thing you need to remember is this is your deck, this is you. There is no right or wrong way to meet or greet a deck of cards. The only right way is your way. And each time you greet a new deck, you may greet it in a slightly different way, and that is perfectly okay. I'm going to demonstrate to you how I greet a deck. The deck I am going to be using is Raise Your Vibration Oracle card by Kyle Gray. So the very first thing I do as soon as I have received my deck of cards, before I open it or anything like that, I say thank you. Okay, thank you for the universe for bringing this deck of cards into my life. I show gratitude. The next thing I need to do is I always want to cleanse it before I've done anything else, because it has come from a factory. You don't know who's handled it in the factory. You don't know how it has come, by plane, by train, by ship, by car, who's handled it and what their energies are like. And of course, this is your deck, so you need to infuse it with your own energy. So first, you need to remove the energies of everything else. You can do this by placing it either perhaps on a large amethyst, such as this, and you could just leave your deck of cards on the amethyst, and you could leave it there for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, a day, 24 hours, however you like. But you can leave it so the amethyst cleanses it. The other way you can do is by getting a smudge stick and light the smudge stick and use the smoke, no flames, because this is paper and you don't want a fire. And you can pass it through the smoke. The smoke will cleanse and heal. Cleansing and heals, so you can use a smudge stick. If you haven't got this and you're very careful, you can light a candle with the intention that the candle, the flame, will heal it, cleanse it as well. However, be exceedingly careful, and again you pass it over the flame. Once you are happy that it is cleansed of anyone else's energy, you can then start working it for yourself. So like I said, I got the box, and usually I like to have a little look at it, see what it says. It says it's a 48 card deck with a guidebook. I also like to often have a look at the back, just to read what it says so I can get the feel of the deck. I then take the card deck apart. Sometimes card decks have got writing inside. This one actually has writing on the inside of the box lid and on the inside of the bottom. And how I do it is, the first time I read it, this says high fives for me are high fives for we. And I usually read it 3 times. The reason being is the first time you just read it, so you get used to the words. The second time it's like, yes, I know what they are. And the third time I say it with like an energy. And that energy will come in. So it'd be high fives for me are high fives for we. High fives for me are high fives for we. High fives for me are high fives for we. So you can get used to the energy. And then I would do the same if there's an affirmations on. This one says, vibe so high, your aura becomes a magnet to blessings. Vibe so high, your aura becomes a magnet to blessings. Vibe so high, your aura becomes a magnet to blessings. And then I would draw my attention to the actual cards themselves. I would take them into my hand and I would have a look at them. And the thing is, this is a brand new deck. They're all going to be stuck to each other. So I always like to have a look at each card individually and greet each card individually. So we have a deck here. So this first card is abundance is a state of mind. So I would look at the back of the card, and then I would look at the front of the card. I would have abundance is a state of mind. And then I would actually, touch it, flap it, bring it to my heart to see what it is. But this way you're getting your energy into it, your vibration, you're removing any energy from the factory or anything like that. And you're getting used to it. Get used to the texture of the card, the image. You look at it, abundance is a state of mind. And then I put it down. Then I go to the next card. Your sensitivity is a gift. This is the next card. So again, I may take a card to my heart. Some of them I may want to bring to my heart, some I don't. Feel the card, look at it, shake it around, etc. like that. So I'm getting all the energy in the card. So then there's another one. I am surrounded by angels. This probably definitely would be a card I will bring to my heart. I am surrounded by angels. Oh yes, definitely could bring that one to my heart. So I would do this all the way through for all, as in this deck, there's 48 cards. If it's a tarot, you've got a lot more cards to go through. So cleansing and looking after a card deck for the first time may take some time. Once I've gone through all the cards, I would then hold them together and I will give them thanks and say, thank you, thank you, thank you. Take them to my heart. If you want to say a prayer, that is fine as well. And then I bring my attention to the guidebooks. It is really worthwhile spending a few moments going through the guidebooks before you actually do the readings. Most guidebooks are split into two sections, the introduction and then the interpretation of the cards. In this guidebook, Carl Gray talks about in the introduction how the cards are split into sections under the different chakra system we have. He also talks about how you can do different types of card readings. He also says how to meet and greet the cards. In the second section, where it's the interpretation, you have a look, and it's always handy to have a look first before you do readings. And here he talks about each card with his interpretation, and then he has a vibe. It's like an affirmation, these vibes for the day. So this one we're looking at, my sexuality is sacred, talks about the definition and the interpretation of the card, but then he has a vibe. I reclaim my sexuality as sacred. Now, whether you want to say that affirmation over or not, that is down to you. Then you would perhaps go for another card. You find a card in the deck, which would be perhaps, I am surrounded by angels. And then when you look up the meaning of that card, you will be able to find the vibe, the affirmation, and say what it is. And then when you are familiar with the guidebook, you can then turn your attention to an actual reading of the cards. There are a number of ways of doing a reading. You can get the cards and just shuffle, shuffle, shuffle. And you can either wait for a card to come out and use that card, or you can just shuffle and then just take the top card or top two or top three, depending on how many cards you're reading, or you can just shuffle the deck, split the cards and take a deck and say, this is the card. Truth is my teacher. Like I said, there is no right or wrong way to meet and greet a deck of cards. Sometimes I will greet them in this way, and sometimes I will greet them in a different way. Sometimes I will cleanse them using my amethyst. Sometimes I will cleanse them using my smudge stick, and sometimes I will just cleanse them with my Reiki. Or sometimes I will just hold them with the pure intention that these cards are ready to be used by myself. I do hope you've enjoyed this video and a brief description in how to meet and greet your own deck of cards. Remember, there is no right or wrong way, only your way. Take care. Namaste. Bye.